Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to our last chapter of the book. It's crazy. We're already at the last chapter, chapter 10, The Broom Dog. So today I'm going to go over the 5 comprehension questions for the broom dog, and then I am going to go over the last 2 vocabulary words you need to complete. So for the comprehension questions, number 1, explain the metaphor that a school bus is a bumblebee. So I want to review with you what metaphors mean. So a metaphor compares one thing to another without using like or as. So similes compares things with using like or as, and metaphors do not. So an example, the sun is a golden ball. So it's saying that it's comparing the sun with a ball. Other examples on the right. Franklin has a heart of gold. So we know Franklin's heart really isn't made out of gold, but it's comparing and talking about that Franklin's heart is so kind, so generous that he has a heart of gold. Another example, he's a walking encyclopedia. So he's not really an encyclopedia with legs walking around. It's comparing the boy with his knowledge and how smart he is with knowing so much. So it's saying it's comparing him with an encyclopedia because an encyclopedia has so much information. Mary's voice is music to my ears. It's comparing Mary's voice to music and how Mary's voice is could be soothing or just a beautiful voice that is music to the ears, that it is beautiful to hear. And so that's a metaphor, and that's comparing her voice to music. You are my sunshine. It's comparing the person to sunshine. And it's talking about that person is just a wonderful person in that someone's life and brings a lot of joy and comfort. When they say, you are my sunshine, you bring a lot of joy in my life. That is a metaphor. And the last example, the world's a stage. The world isn't really a stage, but a metaphor is comparing that the world is a stage where you are who you want to be and you perform the way you want to perform in this life. So it's comparing the world to a stage and how for you it will always be a stage to do what you want to do. So that's just a little talk about metaphors. So back to the questions for number 1. You're going to explain what the metaphor, a school bus is a bumblebee. What does that metaphor mean? A school bus is a bumblebee. Number 2, list 2 ways that Canton viewed crossing guards as having special powers. Number 3, summarize how Mrs. Post becomes injured. So remember, with summarizing, you want to ask yourself, who was involved? What happened? When did it happen? Where did it happen? And why did it happen? Summarize how Mrs. Post becomes injured. Number 4, describe the broom dog and how it offers support. And number 5, state what a school bus falling from the sky actually is. Now onto vocabulary. Here is page 2. Last week we did maneuver and scorched. And this week we are doing devising and glistening. So passage number 1. That was all he needed to see to start devising plans, escape routes. So using that context clues from the passage and your background knowledge, what can you infer devising means? After you make that inference in the box to the right of it, then you can look up the dictionary definition and write that down. Second passage. All she going to do is wonder why your hands and elbows glistening and your face looks like you just got jumped by 17 giant pieces of chalk. So using the context clues from that passage, plus your background knowledge, what can you infer glistening means? After you make that inference, then you are going to write down the dictionary definition of the word glistening. If you have any other questions for the last chapter of this book with the comprehension questions or vocabulary questions, please let us know. I hope you all have a wonderful day and enjoy this beautiful weather.